find no message for him. I'm the big fish. I'm gonna take over his backyard.
Tim Tszyu's demeanour throughout the last couple of weeks and some of the things that he said.
I might have really been paying attention to Tim Tszyu, but his demeanor always been like that. So that's why I really just don't care for him.
Errol Spence Jr. has officially arrived in Australia and wasted no time, sending a powerful message to super welterweight contender Tim Tszyu. Speaking with confidence, Spence made it clear that he's fully focused on the challenge ahead and expects to dominate on fight night. Just training, taking care of some media obligations, staying focused, putting in the work at the gym, and getting ready. Promoter George Rose also revealed that Spence landed in outstanding shape despite the long trip, saying the former champion looks physically prepared and mentally locked in for battle.
Just, a lot of training, probably some media stuff, but just staying focused, going over the game plan in the gym, and getting ready.
George Rose raised the stakes even further by insisting that Tim Tszyu will need the greatest performance of his career if he wants to defeat a fighter with the pedigree and experience of Errol Spence Jr., according to Rose. Nothing less than an exceptional showing will be enough on the world stage.
Yeah, look, we're excited for it. He looks great. It's the first thing that I will say, coming off the back of 20 hours on a plane, he looks in great nick, and he's here to fight. He's here to fight. We're going to see a really solid Errol Spence Jr. next Sunday.
Spence appeared completely unfazed by the move up in weight, treating the jump to the middleweight limit as just another step in his journey. Rather than viewing it as a major challenge, he projected total confidence in his ability to perform regardless of the division.
Errol Spence Jr. is one of the greatest fighters of this generation, and to beat Errol Spence Jr., you need to be the absolute best version of yourself, and that's what I'm excited about seeing with Tim, is that physically, mentally, he's prepared and ready to make his name again on that world stage.
The former unified champion also dismissed any concerns about fighting in front of a partisan Australian crowd. Drawing on years of experience competing in different environments, Spence made it clear that hostile atmospheres have never affected his mindset or confidence.
It wasn't no reason. I was like, why fight at 150? Why fight at 158? We might as well just fight at the weight limit 160. I mean, why not?
Adding another layer to the mental battle, Spence admitted he hasn't spent much time studying Tim Tszyu's fights. He suggested that he isn't overly impressed by his opponent and remains focused on executing his own game plan rather than worrying about the hometown favorite.
The experience will be dope. I'm going to enjoy it a lot. It's going to be a dope event, and something I've been used to. Even when I was in the amateurs, I fought overseas a lot, so it's not something that I'm unfamiliar with at all. So I'm going to take it all in, enjoy the whole process, and when I come out, hopefully everybody won't boo me, and put on a great show.
Trainer Ronnie Shields shed light on Spence's time away from competition, explaining that the former champion never stopped working behind the scenes. According to Shields, Spence continued building his conditioning and physical strength while prioritizing his health, laying the groundwork for this long-awaited return.
I might have really been paying attention to Tim Tszyu, but his demeanor always been like that, so that's why I really just don't care for him.
Ronnie Shields also brushed aside any concerns surrounding the weight change, insisting that the extra pounds won't make a difference. In his view, fighters of Spence's caliber adapt to any challenge, and the team's only objective is delivering a dominant performance against Tim Tszyu.
Errol never stopped training. That's what people don't understand, is that for the 3 years he was old, he was still training, but he had no idea he was going to fight. He was just doing it for health reasons. And then he decided one day, you know what, I'm going to try it again. And so that's when I got the call, and here we are.
Ronnie Shields wrapped up his assessment with a confident warning, explaining that there is no need for complicated tactics or flashy strategies. According to him, allowing a fully prepared and motivated Errol Spence Jr. to fight naturally is all it takes to produce a dominant performance against Tim Tszyu.
It doesn't make a difference, man. 2 pounds is no worries anyway. So.
Tim Tszyu revealed that working alongside legendary pressure fighter Jeff Fennick has transformed his approach on the inside. He promised fans that he has no intention of avoiding exchanges with Errol Spence and is fully prepared to stand his ground in an all-action battle.
I just want Errol to be Errol. just want him to be himself, not pushing him to be anything other than who he is. And, he's going to do what he know how to do. So, we feel confident that that's going to be enough to win.
The Australian contender explained that he accepted the challenge as soon as discussions began late last year. Tszyu acknowledged that both fighters are putting everything on the line, believing the outcome of this fight could have a major impact on the future of their careers.
He's one of the best inside fighters of all time. So there's a lot to learn from him in terms of that. And this fight, stylistically, it's not going to be like me running and moving. I'm coming in, I'm risking it all.
Tszyu made his intentions perfectly clear heading into the showdown, saying his objective is not simply to win, but to impose himself physically throughout the contest. He emphasized that he wants to make every round difficult for Spence and leave no doubt about his dominance inside the ring.
The perspective that you have of making this fight, was this a fight that you called for, Errol called for, it's happening in Australia? Kind of take us through.
Yeah, I think both parties came to the party. And then, I don't know, I was notified after my fight against Velasquez in December, and then I accepted straight away. I wanted to get one more fight in before that. And then, it's a real, for both of us, there's so much on the line.
Yeah.
And for both parties, it leads to a big victory for both of us. So that's why there's so much on the line.
Veteran trainer Robert Garcia shared his thoughts on the matchup, saying both fighters face a difficult challenge. He praised Tszyu for remaining active and proving himself against high-level opposition, while admitting his support naturally leans toward the American. However, Garcia believes the biggest question surrounding the fight is which version of Errol Spence Jr. will step into the ring.
I want to hurt him.
Yeah.
That's my mentality right now going into this fight, is I really want to do damage.
Garcia also raised concerns about Spence's recent history, pointing to the serious car accident, the knockout loss, and the personal struggles the former champion has openly discussed. In his opinion, returning immediately to such a demanding fight creates significant uncertainty and makes this comeback one of the biggest risks of Spence's career.
Well, look, it is a test for both guys, but Tim Tszyu has fight. He just had a fight not too long ago, and he did really good. I think he's proven that he could still compete, that he's still in that level to have good fights. I think it's more about Errol Spence, which I know, and he's from Texas, from the United States, so definitely. I support his career. I've always said he's a great fighter.
Garcia suggested that Spence may understand he is entering the later stages of his career, making this opportunity an important one both professionally and financially. While he believes a healthy and focused Spence is still capable of delivering an elite performance, he also feels that taking on such a dangerous challenge in Australia is a bold gamble with plenty of unanswered questions.
He's had some personal problems where, he's admitted himself that he's had a drinking problem. I don't know how bad it was, but it must have been pretty bad from him accepting it and actually advising young fighters not to do it. He also had some really bad loss against Crawford and a very bad car accident. So I think the question is about him, how is he gonna come back? How is he gonna react to a fight? I said it publicly, not because I know anything, I have no idea, but if he's coming back after a few years already since his last fight and his pretty brutal loss to Crawford, coming back straight into a big fight against Tim Tszyu, I don't know. To me, personally, I think there's a lot of questions there.
Boxing insider Sean Zittel analyzed the matchup by explaining that while Tim Tszyu has shown signs of wear after his recent battles, he still carries dangerous knockout power that can change a fight instantly. Zittel remains fascinated by this contest because both fighters are coming off major defeats that have changed the way fans and experts view their current abilities.
He might feel like he doesn't have much left, and wants to get that biggest fight. That's why he's also willing to go to Australia. Maybe there's more money if he goes to Australia than bringing Tim Tszyu to the United States. Maybe he's gonna make more money going to Australia. He's, to me, like I said, I don't want this to be like I'm saying that that's exactly what's going on, because I don't know. Maybe he's sharp, maybe he's strong, maybe he's fast, and goes out and puts a beating on Tim Tszyu, because he's got the skills to do it if it's a fresh Spence. But if a fighter's coming back after a few years layoff and a beating that he took, car accident, drinking problems, coming back straight into a big fight the way he is, and it's a dangerous fight, I want to believe that it's because he thinks that he might not have much left.
The Australian challenger appears to have the advantage in speed and combination accuracy, but Errol Spence Jr. enters the fight with a significant size and physical strength advantage. That natural power could become a major factor if the fight turns into a long and demanding battle.
Still look good. He had something in the tank left. I don't think he's quite what he was before the Fundora fights and Bakram, but he's still, I don't know. I'm interested in the Spence fight because in this fight, he still would put some, take something off the shots and then boom, finish with a sharp shot to the body, a real sharp shot to the body, or a real heavy left hook, nice uppercut here and there. And so what I'm curious about in the Spence fight, from what I've seen from each of their last fights, Spence 3 years ago against Terrence, and again, it's against Terrence Crawford, he'll make you not look good. He'll make you not quite look like what you are.
The key to victory may depend on how well Tszyu handles Spence's powerful jab and constant pressure. Neutralizing that weapon will be essential, but questions remain about whether Tszyu can execute the perfect strategy needed to overcome the former unified champion.
I still think Tszyu is a little sharper punch for punch. The sharp punches he would put together off his combinations, they still look sharper than Errol. But the interesting thing is, Errol Spence, I think, is bigger.
This highly anticipated showdown represents a major crossroads for two elite fighters trying to rebuild their careers. Spence traveling into hostile Australian territory creates another layer of danger and uncertainty in what has become a high-risk opportunity for both men.
And the main problem for Tim Tszyu against Errol is going to be that jab. What does he do against that busy, constant jab?
Errol
on Errol's side,
right?
yeah, Errol just keeping that jab in his face.
Yeah.
When Bomac prepared for Terrence, he said that's the #1 thing we got to take away from him. He fights off his jab. He gets confidence off he builds off his jab. He dominates you off the jab. So take the jab away, and we got the fight won.
Right.
Tim Tszyu is not Terrence Crawford, so I don't know how he deals with that jab. Again, I think Errol's bigger than him.
Journalist Brendan Bradford gave insight into Tsyu's early training camp after his return from the major Las Vegas press event. He revealed an interesting connection developing between Tszyu and his new coaching team as their preparation continues to intensify ahead of this massive challenge.
That's a good matchup. Spence has been fighting, like two years?
Since the Crawford fight, yeah.
3 years, maybe 2 years. That's a good fight for him to come back, because Tim Tszyu is also not at his prime anymore. He's been hurt, he's been knocked out. So that's actually a pretty good matchup for a return. It's also a good matchup for Tim. If he beats Errol Spence,
big name,
he gets another shot at something bigger. So that's a good matchup for both, actually. But he's going to Australia, so that's a little iffy there.
No, plus when you travel that far, it takes a long time to adjust to the weather, the food, the time. Yeah,
it could be a little tricky, but matchup-wise, it's a good matchup.
50-50.
Bradford explained that Tszyu has made a noticeable adjustment by focusing on shorter, more explosive training sessions. The change has forced the usually relentless fighter to manage his workload differently. Yet the Australian star appears surprisingly calm, confident, and motivated before the biggest test of his career.
Yeah, went down to see Timmy train and Hassamden actually down at Rockdale at the Zoo Boxing Academy down there. Spent almost 3 hours down there with Hass and Jeff and Tim, and Omar was down there as well. So yeah, first look into the camp, as it starts ramping up, I suppose. They were probably 2 weeks, week and a half, 2 weeks back into full-time training together after Tim went to Vegas for the announcement for the press conference for the Errol Spence fight. So, you know, they're into their routines. They're starting to pick up, you know, the intensity and the training and stuff, which we can probably get to. But yeah, really interesting insight into those two working together and working off each other and how it might look after.
The reporter also explained the important technical changes being implemented to prepare Tszyu for a skilled and dangerous southpaw like Spence. The training camp is heavily focused on correcting defensive mistakes, especially keeping his chin protected during combinations, because one small error could completely change the outcome of the fight.
Boxing work in the ring, and then maybe only a round on the heavy bag, and then conditioning at the end, just your sort of standard. But it was just short, sharp, really on the go. Spoke to Tim as well about that, about usually his trainings are that, you know, he works himself to an absolute standstill each time, so he's still mentally trying to figure out how to pull the handbrake on a little bit, I guess, and just adapt to the shorter, sharper sessions. But yeah, the big one is that I've probably never seen Tim this relaxed, this happy in a camp before.
Australian boxing legend Danny Green welcomed the return of world-class boxing to home soil for this massive event. He explained that the biggest question surrounding the fight is the impact of Errol Spence Jr.'s 3-year absence, which could either allow his body to recover completely or expose him to serious challenges under the pressure of elite competition.
And watching them, he's not going to try and turn Tim into Jeff Fenech. He's going to try and bring elements that maybe weren't there before, and just improving various things. Obviously, you know, Errol Spence is a southpaw and he's very slick, so it's not like training for a Fundora, it's not like training for a Bakram. Although there were fundamentals, I think, that Jeff has picked up, and he's spoken to you about, he's spoken to me about, he's spoken to everyone about, you know, the big one is dropping his right hand when he throws the left hook. So that's obviously one they're working on. So there are fundamentals, but there's also particulars to prepare for Errol Spence.
Green predicted a brutal battle between two fighters with intense personalities and unstoppable determination. He believes Spence still carries the toughness and mentality of a true champion, while expecting Tim Tszyu to come forward aggressively from the opening bell to test whether the American star still has the same hunger and fire inside him.
But I think Liam's got the edge in speed and finesse. You know, he's got a lot of skill, and as I said, his IQ is very, very strong. So I think it's going to be a very hard, tough fight, but I do see Liam Paro coming out on top.
And a 2-division world champion, it'd be great to get one of those in our country.
Yeah, it's mad. You know, we've had a lot of great world champions, and you know, for him to win another world title and you know, cement his name in Australian boxing folklore, it's mad for him. Young up and coming pug. I bet he never dreamed of doing this.
The former champion also discussed the importance of Tsayu's coaching changes before this career-defining fight. He believes the biggest achievement of the New Corner team has been developing a more aggressive mindset, preparing Tszyu to come out with explosive intensity the moment the opening bell rings.
Young kid, and as I did when I was young, you know, you never dream of it. And I'm old now, look back and go, wow, it was a mad ride, and he'll do that when he's older. It's fantastic, and for No Limit and the guys to put the show on and give young blokes this opportunity is fantastic for boxing.
Great to see you around this as well. And another thing that's great for boxing is Tim Tszyu and Errol Spence. What a card that is. In Sydney, we had the big announcement the other day, which is great. And just run me through that main event.
Yeah, it's a mad show. It's a great event, and it's you know, it's fantastic for boxing.
Former multi-division champion Zab Judah praised the improvements being made in Errol Spence Jr.'s training camp under his current leadership. He highlighted the sharper head movement and smoother combinations being developed, believing these adjustments could create a completely different and more dangerous version of the former unified champion compared to his last performance.
It's an interesting one. Tim's, you know, changed camps, you know, a couple of times, pretty quick succession. So I guess the time will tell. Time will tell how that holds up. You know, Jeff will have him fit and willing and strong, and I think he'll have him pumped up. He'll have him pumped up, ready to go. I guess mentally have him pumped up and G'd up. That's really important for a fighter. You can be physically strong, you can be, you know, fundamentally, you know, across ticking all the boxes in your training and what you want to do to your opponents. But if your mindset isn't there, then you're gonna be found out. So I think Jeff's strength is going to be able to have Tim's mindset just jumping. I think he's going to jump through those ropes and rip into Errol Spence Jr.
Judah expects a high-level tactical battle where the younger challenger will start with speed, aggression, and pressure to take advantage of any possible ring rust. However, he believes Spence will eventually adjust, absorb the early attack, and begin breaking down Tszyu before forcing a dramatic late stoppage.
I like him. Ronnie Shields is doing a marvelous job with him. He's got him moving his head and throwing punches. That's the Ronnie Shields movement. Yep, I remember these days. Move your head, throw the punches, slide around, keep moving. Move your head, slide around, keep moving. Walk your feet. Use his jab. I mean, listen, I know for a fact we're gonna see a different Errol Terrence Bud Crawford fight.
The former undisputed champion believes the fight is destined to reach a violent turning point in the championship rounds before the final bell. With both fighters carrying tremendous pride, power, and a warrior mentality, Judah believes the possibility of a brutal knockout finish is extremely high.
I've been doing good, man. I've been on a roll, right? I've been on a roll.
You're calling them stoppages.
A late stoppage. The reason why I pick a late stoppage because Tim Tszyu gonna be very sharp early. He's gonna be looking to fight. He's young. He got a lot of heart. He's ferocious. He has tenacity, and he's gonna come in there and try to make this happen. You know what I'm saying? And I think that maybe for a while because of Errol Spence's layoff and the long layoff, he's gonna take him a couple rounds to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? But once he figure it out, I think later on in the fight, the big fish will turn back into the big fish, and he'll walk Tim Tszyu down, and he'll get a late stop. I put this in around the 9th round, though. Maybe the 9th round. The 9th round sounds pretty kosher to me. You know what I'm saying? They are not going no 12-round fight. Tim Tszyu is a killer. Errol Spence is a killer. Errol Spence got something to prove to the world. Tim Tszyu is in his country. He got his whole country behind him. Places where, remember, he was born there, right? He went to school there. He got his friends, his peers. He's not coming in to lose, brother. He coming there to fight. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I predict this shit ain't going on 12 rounds. No way, Jose. No.
This blockbuster showdown represents a massive risk where ring rust, a hostile atmosphere, and major career adjustments all come together to create an unpredictable battle. The question remains whether Errol Spence Jr. can prove he is still one of boxing's elite fighters, or if Tim Tszyu can use the energy of his home crowd to defeat a modern legend. The difference between redemption and a career-changing defeat has never been thinner. Share your thoughts in the comments and let us know who you believe will break first when these two powerful fighters finally collide.